think that in everybody's opinion, tuition grants were ruled out as they applied to promoting segregated schools. And when that issue is once out of the question, which it is now out, then we ought to be able to give tuition grants to aid private schools along other lines. There are many times when we perhaps in the future will want to give aid to private schools, and under this amendment, under this resolution as was partially adopted this morning, we limit that aid to the mentally handicapped, and I think that's a mistake. We certainly don't want to neglect the mentally handicapped, and they're already drawing these tuition grants. But at the same time, I don't think it is a feeling of Virginia that we will never in the future want to give any aid, deny aid to private education.
Well, I think that amendment would have put Section 141 back in the Constitution. It has been ruled by the courts that is unconstitutional, and I think it would be a bad thing on our part to legislate or put something in the Constitution that the courts have already said that we can't do. I think it would be a slap in the face to the courts. It would be unfair to the people of Virginia to present something to them that has already been ruled unconstitutional.
Do you think it should have been a separate item for the people to vote on?
Well, it looks like every controversial matter that comes up, people are saying we can put it on the ballot as a separate item. I think the people of Virginia would like for us to make some decisions and give them some guidance. That's why they elected us. So unless it's very, very controversial, I don't think that we should put too many things on the ballot as separate items. I think we should make the decisions ourselves.
Mr. Garland, you voted against the education article today. Why?
Yes, John, I did vote against the House Education Committee substitute for the article on education which had been proposed by the Harrison Commission, because I thought the House Committee had so watered down the article that it had very little to recommend it. When they watered down the Harrison Commission, I start to wonder, because the Harrison Commission was not made up of wild-eyed idealists, but very sound, practical men, mostly lawyers. For example, the Harrison Commission had said that the General Assembly shall ensure high-quality education in the Commonwealth. The Education Committee of the House made that read, shall seek to ensure, and I submit that that language is meaningless. And this is just an example of the way this very important article in the Constitution was watered down.
The section on local government, which was reported today by the Committee on Counties, Cities, and Towns, is concise, and I believe it's very broad in its authorizations to the General Assembly to provide for any type of local government which the localities of this the state feel that they will need in the years ahead. The committee did not recommend the adoption of the home rule provision as the commission suggested, because the counties and cities of this state felt it was unnecessary. Most of the provisions on local debt remain the same, and I believe that the article will provide maximum flexibility to the General Assembly and to the counties, cities, and towns of the state, and I believe the people will find it acceptable.